Hello, everybody. It's Bob Anderson, and it is March 23rd, 2023. And I'm going to put this video together for the second time because I almost had it done. And then the landscaper showed up, and I didn't think you guys wanted to listen to a lawnmower. Anyways, so let me try to reduplicate what I had started. This may be the most important video I put together for those of you looking to do those rhythm style trades, the continuation trade, the 1 minute gold line, the continuation trade off of the 5 minute gold line, and maybe I'll touch a little bit on the 5 minute red line. But most importantly is the 1 minute gold line and the 5 minute gold line, because I get a lot of questions sometimes, and I do have some people that send me screenshots of trades they've taken and they didn't work or whatever, and they want me to review them, blah, blah, blah. And there's one consistent error that I see in the 5 minute gold line trades. So, and then there's another consistent error that I see on a lot of them, which is not trading at the proper times. So let me talk about this for a second, okay? Remember, I can't say this enough. I only took one trade today. Why would I take more? I made 40 ticks on 2 contracts, 1 trade. Why would I take more? That's $800. There's no sense in giving it back. There's no sense in rolling the dice. Now, I did see some beautiful trades later that I could have made some good money, but again, that's not what it's about. It's about creating patience, taking the proper setups, making your money, shutting it down. If you have the urge to trade, that's what Sim's for. And that also will give you some good screen time. Anyway, so quality, not quantity. I cannot stress that enough. All right, so proper time. Let's talk about the 1 minute gold line again. That is a momentum style trade. And you're asking for it because I'm not a scalper. Yeah, I don't know if you guys know what scalpers are in the ES, but those are people that are trying to get a point here and a point there and that kind of crap. Well, I mean, I'm not looking to get a point. I'm looking to get 5 points. So if you expect to get 5 points out of a 1 minute gold line trade, you need to only be looking at that trade between like 9:45 to 10:30 on the ES. Rarely can you go from 10:30 to 11. You should be able to identify that that's the kind of market you're in, but hardly ever would you go past 11 for that trade. Okay, I can't. It sets up throughout the day, because the moving averages keep going around, and it hits and then it does its thing, but it's not going to get you 5 points. So what's the point? Remember, this is risk reward. Small losses, big wins. That's what passes your evaluations. That's what gets you paid from these prop firms. Second is obviously always pay attention to when the news is. I mean, I know this, some of this is repetitive. And third is make sure the market's in rhythm, okay? So, but this one is in red right here because proper setup is something that I need to talk about because it's harder to identify in the 5 minute gold line. And even though the 5 minute gold line does not ask for the consistent pullback that the 1 minute continuation trade takes, it does have to be in sequence where it's stair stepping. And that's where I think people are missing things. And also, it is why trying to program an indicator, as I've been trying to do the 5 minute gold line has been so difficult. I'm going to show you some perfect setups today, and I'm going to show you some setups that weren't perfect, and I'm going to show you why they're not perfect. Okay, all right, for the 5-minute gold line, and when I show you those two, you'll see why I say it's not easy for me to program an identifier, an indicator for that 5-minute gold line. I mean, the 5-minute gold line, I mean, I could send you an indicator right now. It pops up on my chart. Problem is, it tells you trades that you'd be insane to take, in my opinion. And I don't want to send something out to people that I personally wouldn't put my own money on the trade. I think those of you that have been on my channel long enough probably know exactly that that's my character. All right, so let's talk about pivot. So, like, let's just for conversational purposes say this is your 5-minute gold line right here. Okay, going up. We're gonna do longs because obviously that's the one I know how to do better. And then here's your price. All right, so here's your price. I gotta do this right. So here's your price. You throw up, throw down, throw up, and then throw down. Okay? Right there. Now here is what is so important to recognize. So important. Again, it's not as big of an issue in the continuation trade because the continuation trade is a high-speed momentum trade where you don't have what I'm about to show you as a potential problem. Okay? So, what are we looking for? Well, we look to the left, right? Remember, no pun intended. We look to the left, right? What are we in the army? Left, right, left, right. No, we look to the left. Always look to the left, okay? I spend more time looking to the left than I do looking at the chart, looking at price right now, honestly. So you look to the left, and what do you notice? Well, that right here is higher than this. Okay? So just like a ladder, step, 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 step. That's what we're looking for. Okay? So this being higher than this, when this pulled back, that's cool. That's what you want to do. You want to look to the left and you want to see that there's not another, that this isn't sitting right here like this and, you got some screwed up stuff. You got to see a pattern. You look to your left for about the last hour. You don't see anything there. Great. But the other important thing is this has to pivot before it breaks this. Because this is your step to your high. That is so crucial in that 5-minute gold line. And this is the piece that is difficult for me to get coded properly in the indicator. That is the most difficult part. Because the one thing about the 5-minute gold line, I'm going to talk about this. This thing does lag. It's pretty slow. Okay? And so sometimes it's hanging out. And it gets very irritating if you're sitting there trying to take this trade, meaning me. Okay? So let me go back and talk about this. So where I get nervous, okay, is we got this situation we just talked about right there, right? But this keeps pulling back. And I'm looking at this right here at the same time that I'm looking at this, which is this EMA, this 9 EMA on the 5-minute. And I'm looking at this thing, and it's not getting there. It's not getting here. So it's not getting to the point where it's going to support the pullback and the push. Because as soon as price comes down here and breaks this pivot up to this new high, and hits my gold line, I've got a problem. Because no longer are we stair-stepping. Instead, we've started the potential back the other way. That's price action. And this right here is crucial. It's crucial. This pivot that pushes this up can't be compromised when this comes back to here. It doesn't matter, if you remember, on the 5-minute gold line trade, it doesn't matter if price does this and this and this and this and this and this to get there. What matters is that it doesn't break this. And then you take the long here, and I'm going to tell you that is your profit trade. But I can tell you this, so many times this will go up, and by the time this 5-minute gold line gets there, we've already broken this. And then the trade may or may not work, but it's going to take a lot of energy for it to work because it's now pivoted in the reverse position. And you may get a reaction here because there's all these traders, amateurs, trading off that 9 EMA that don't recognize that pivot there. Don't recognize what the bigger traders are seeing. We broke the pivot to the left. Again, look to the left. Okay? So you end up getting in there and it goes long and then they ram it down. They trapped you. They knew they were going to trap you in the first place. As soon as they broke that. The one thing about the market is the big money loves to trap traders. I mean, I can't emphasize that enough. Remember, we're trying to be on the back of that shark. We're trying to stay with that shark. Okay? So, the only way to stay with that shark is to stay consistent, manage your stops, and hit your big targets. And that'll keep you in the game. My screenshot that I put for this video actually was the trade that I took, but it wasn't my trade. It was the trade that somebody who has his brand new PA account, first one he's ever had, using these strategies. He took the overnight open with his first overnight range break trade, with his first PA trade ever. He hit it for $400, and he messaged me and he says, I cut the trade off. Now, this is funny. He cut the trade off so he didn't break the rules of making too much money in one trade. Now, that's a nice choice to have to make. Anyways, and then he shut his computer off. That was it. He took that one trade. I took the same trade. But anyways, we're not here to talk about the open range break trade. We're here to talk about the continuation trade, the 5-minute gold line trade. And you've got to recognize this issue right here, because I'm going to show you an example that happened today in the ES where it came close, this didn't happen, and then went, because it hit that 5-minute gold line before it broke this obvious pivot. It shot. I don't even know how many points. Hold on here. How many points did that thing go? I mean, it shot like a rocket. Holy shit. It shot 17 points. 17 points. 17 points. Okay, now, one more thing about the 5-minute gold line. Unlike the 1-minute gold line, it is less of a momentum trade. Okay, it's more of a big money trade. So you can trade it longer. It's one of those ones that you really can trade it till about noon. And even further than that if you want, but I'd say till about noon. but at the most, I mean, really, you don't want to be trading at lunchtime anyways, but you can, and by the way, it normally doesn't even, like today, I don't even think the first one set up until 10:40 in the ES. But anyways, we're going to talk about that. I'm going to show it to you. I'm going to show you an RTY trade that has this failure, okay, and why you wouldn't take it. And then I'm going to show you some of these same setups in oil, and then I'm going to show you this exact setup in the ES. And this video is going to be long, but I mean, I think this is one of these points that people have got to grasp. Okay. Again, it's not about quantity; it's about quality. And that one ES trade that's set up clearly as my face in this video at 10:40 this morning could have made you 17 points in the ES. 17. After all the bullshit was over. All right, let's go. I mean, I've already killed a bunch of time, but this is really important. So here's the trade, and I'm going to tell you guys something on this trade. All right, this ES trade. I'm going to tell you something on this ES trade. I put this arrow right here. I put this arrow on this screen when this thing penetrated right here, and then this candle closed. I put this arrow, and I put this arrow on the screen before this candle even finished. Why did I do that? And that's why I'm 1, 2, 3 minutes off. Why did I do that? Because I knew this trade was going to work from the moment I saw it. This is the one that if you got in here at 12.5 and you just follow the bottom of the candles, it went all the way up to here, and you could have gotten out up here at 29. So 12 to 29 if you wanted. 12 to 29, but here's your 5 points right here. Anyways, so let's talk about this trade, okay? Price blows out of the range, okay? Blows out of the range. Doesn't really blow out of the range. This is pretty dead today. I mean, the market was just dead. Then all of a sudden, here's a pivot. See this pivot here? Pushes across the 1 minute gold line, creates a new high right here. So you don't really have to look to your left because you just broke the daily high. You don't have to look to your left now. And then it pulled back, pulled back, pulled back, pulled back, pulled back. And by the way, this continuation trade didn't work. But guess what? It's after 10:30. It's after 10:30. Comes back, hits your gold line. Here's your candle that penetrates your gold line. You take your break right here at 12.5. And I'm not lying when I say I put these arrows on here before the trade even happened. Because that is what you're looking for. You're looking for this. You're looking for that recent pivot high, and you're looking for when price finally gets to your gold line, that your pivot spot is higher than your pivot spot to your left. If this had gone down, that's why I say you get anxious. You're looking at this 5 minute gold line coming, and you're going, oh my God, if this thing doesn't start picking up, I'm not going to hit the gold line before it breaks this pivot up. And if that's the case, it's no trade. All right. Now, just for shits and giggles, I think I had a reason. Yeah, I highlighted something over here. Oh yeah, what did I highlight over here? So then you get over here. And price comes down, and then up, and then down. Now see, here's your pivot that brought up to your new high. See this pivot over here? Goes across. You got to extend it in your vision. Well, guess what happened? Price broke through it. Even though you still had these possible longs before this candle, but these possible longs didn't work. rolled over, boom, done. Because you pivoted. You broke that pivot long when you broke it here. So now the market's looking to reverse. I don't even know if it did reverse. Did it reverse? Yeah, it did. Okay. I didn't even actually know if it did reverse. It did reverse. I mean, it's like I did not know if it reversed or not. I didn't. But it's again, have you seen this movie before? Okay, I actually didn't know if it did reverse. I'm being perfectly honest. I just knew that trade was not a valid trade because it was an indication that it broke that pivot. And that means they're starting the trend to reverse the market. Okay? All right. So, I'm hoping people get this. This video is going to be long, and I really don't care how many people complain about the videos being long. They don't have to watch. All right. So, let's go to oil. I want to show you this. Okay? This is perfect. This is perfect right here. This is oil. Now watch this. Price goes up, breaks this pivot, rolls down into the gold line, into the 5-minute gold line right here. But this pivot is higher than this pivot. This is the pivot, by the way, right here. I'm going to draw this line. It's really right here. You can't just stare at the dots. All right, you can't just stare at the dots. Those dots aren't necessarily accurate. You got to be able to visualize it yourself. So the real pivot area was here. Now, you know, this is way down from here anyways, but you had a push through, you had a pull back, you had a 5-minute gold line. This was after 10:30, as I've talked about, and then bam, here's your long at 71.23. And so 20 points is 43, which is right. Where's 43? There's 43 right there. There's 43 right there. So you got 43 right in this candle right here. All right. So then we go up. Look to your left. You're higher than this pivot? Yes. Is this pivot going to be higher than this pivot? Well, we'll see. At the time that it pulled back, your entry would have been here. This would have created the new pivot if this works. So you're launching from a higher pivot. Boom. Again, here's your 20 ticks. Now, here. Oh my God. Have you seen this movie before? All right. Then you get a new high. Guess what happens? You come back. What do we have going on right here? What do we have going on right here? Well, we got a new high. That's cool. We got a pivot from a higher high than here. That's cool. But we got a third attempt. So the amateurs get in and it rolls over and it knocks them out. I know you think I make this shit up. Anyways, so then you got your rollover. I mean, oil's one of those ones that has a tendency to do things more consistently, especially in the afternoon. So you got your roll under the red line. Then you had your continuation here off the 5-minute gold line. Another one off the 5-minute gold line. And then what happened when it happened? What happened when it happened the third time? What happened down here? What happened down here when it went the third time? It didn't work. It didn't work. Oh, shit. All right. Now, I highlighted something in the RTY. We could do the same thing with the RTY. Here's your pivot here. There's one. Let's see here. I can't even, hold on here. Let me figure this out. Where did I highlight something? Oh, I highlighted something over here in the pre-market. Why did I do that? Let me see if I can remember. I highlighted the whole, oh, yes. I highlighted the whole thing. Okay. I highlighted the whole thing. Why did I highlight the whole thing? I highlighted the whole thing because we had, let me see if I can delete this candle. Let me see if I can delete this now. I did this on purpose. So you had your push through, you had your break of your left, pull back, rolled up, and then it pulled back again. But see this right here? Just in case you're like looking at pre-market stuff or whatever. But this is important. You see this? See, that didn't break that. So when it rolled back in here, you're not looking for any longs. Then all of a sudden this, if you want consistent trades, then all of a sudden this one rolls up and breaks this pivot to your left, comes down, and it's going to pivot from a higher pivot than here. And this break of this candle right here, boom, boom. There's a reason there's a sequence of green candles long right here. It's because this little elf broke these pivots, came back into both your gold lines, your 5 minute and your 1 minute, and then it broke, and there it is. Just green as can be. Now, do all of them work just because it follows 100% the story I just laid? No. But that's what creates the higher probability trades. Always look to your left. I can't stress that enough. When you're pivoting on a 5 minute gold, you don't have to look at this really on a 1 minute, because again, the 1 minute's a momentum trade. It's usually way off from the pivot. Okay, but on that 5 minute gold line, you need to be able to look to the left and see what created the pivot high, and see if you've compromised it when it came back to your gold line before you take your long or your short. If it's been compromised, don't take the trade. Even if it works. Even if it ultimately works, it doesn't matter. Quality, not quantity. Everybody have a good day. I'll talk to you later. Bye.